The vice president is smart and strong, which will make her a good president. But she's also kind and has empathy, which can make her a great president. And the contrast between her and those running on the other side couldn't be clearer.
And that was Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. Get to know his name. He's endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris's White House bid now. He's one of many Democrats who could become her VP pick if she gets the Democratic nomination. Jasmine Wright and Susan Page join us now to discuss. Jasmine is politics reporter for NOTUS, and Susan is the Washington bureau chief for USA Today. She's also the author of Madam Speaker, a biography of Nancy Pelosi. And actually, Susan, I want to start with you on that note, just given you can kind of be our Pelosi whisperer here. We've been talking about her role in all of this. Can you kind of reflect on the significance of Pelosi in this moment?
You know, Nancy Pelosi behind the scenes played a bigger role than any other figure, I think, in engineering Joe Biden out of this race. And it's not because she's anti-Biden. She's a longtime ally of Joe Biden. She helped pass some of the most critical legislation of his presidency. But she concluded that he couldn't win. She concluded that he was going to cost Democrats seats in the House of Representatives in November. And so she worked on listening to the members, having members come out publicly, sometimes quietly, sometimes with more noise, saying Biden should step back. She herself gave a very important speech on Morning Joe, a show that we know that President Biden watches, saying we need him to make a decision. This was after he thought he had made a decision to run again. This was a message from her that wasn't good enough. And finally, she had a final meeting with him, very tough, making the case with the data that he could not win, and that all being crucial to his decision to step back. Caitlin.
Yeah, that moment that you just described seemed like the big turning point in this race. Susan, thank you for that. Jasmine, you and I covered Kamala Harris's primary campaign in 2020. Yes. You were on the ground with her. I'll let you be kind of our Kamala Harris whisperer here. The significance of this moment for her, but also kind of what she can bring to this ticket. I mean, we talk so much about Black women, especially being kind of the backbone of this party. I'm curious kind of if you think the support is there from your reporting. I know you've done so much reporting on this.
Right. Well, I think the significance, I mean, I can't even really quantify it because it is so huge, particularly as someone who's covered Harris since 2018. If you think back to 2019, November, when she dropped out of the race, it was really like a bomb went off, not just inside of that campaign, but across the political spectrum. People were really upset that the only Black woman in the Democratic primary was leaving, but she just couldn't get enough support to continue it. So come back to now, right? The last 24 hours have been insane when you think about all of the Democrats that have rushed to support the vice president in her bid now for the White House. I don't think that anybody from 2019 could have dreamed of this moment, but it is here. And so when we talk about the significance of Harris's trajectory, it's also about her being a Black woman and being able to use that bank of support. Just last night, 40,000 Black women got on a Zoom call. Outside allies raised over $1 million just to support the vice president. Of course, we know about her AKA background. We know about the work that she's been doing on abortion, not just for Black women, but Black women have been center in her women's rights campaign. So I think that she has a massive swell of support with Black women, particularly politically active Black women. The question is, can she expand that base? And I think that's where the VP pick is going to come in and other things. But I mean, the significance of this last 24 hours has been monumentous to people I've talked to.
Yeah, that Zoom call is really interesting. Shows kind of that grassroots support. Susan, on that VP pick, we heard a little sound from Governor Beshear, and I'm curious if you're hearing, any other names. And also, I mean, you've covered so many of these campaigns. We're talking about this one is certainly history making, but I'm kind of wondering how you're feeling about covering this moment in time.
This is actually the 12th presidential campaign I've covered, and some of them have been really interesting and momentous and historic, but there's never been a presidential election in modern times like this one. I mean, starting with the fact that it's a rematch between a former president and the current president. Then we have the assassination attempt. I mean, just in the past week, the assassination attempt, this remarkable Republican convention of a united party remade in Trump's image. And now Biden recognizing kind of the uphill battle he was facing in doing well and leading his party in November, stepping away. We haven't seen a president do that since LBJ. So this election, whatever happens from now on, is going to rank as one of the most historic and remarkable and turbulent in American history.
Turbulent indeed. I think we all have whiplash over the past few days. Jasmine, in terms of the vice president now having to pick someone for her role, what are you hearing about some possible names and kind of how the base might react to some of those names?
Yeah, well, I think the conventional thinking around the vice president and her allies is that they have to pick somebody very different than her, but who can appeal to America. So their focus from now or from the last 24 hours, but even before then, when her outside allies were thinking about what comes next after that debate, have been on those white swing state governors who they feel can really expand Harris's electability beyond just the base of voters of Black women, women voters and young voters, but to those white voters, but to those male voters that maybe she would have a difficult time of getting by herself. But other people that I've talked to, they want more military figures. They want people like that. So I think it's going to be, come down to what the vice president chooses, but it's absolutely thinking about how do they expand the base beyond what Harris already brings to the ticket.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Donald Trump agrees to a debate with Harris as well. Stay tuned. Busy summer for all of us. Susan Page and Jasmine Wright, thank you both so much. We appreciate it.